Hello and welcome to LongShot Larry's Sports Astrology. We're continuing today with the exact aspect forming during the match, but today we're going to see how the moon can trigger that aspect. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for the moon to trigger other planetary aspects during the game that aren't exact, which was the last video, and I'll put a link up in the top corner if you missed that one. By first aspecting one planet, then a second or possibly further planets during the time frame of the game. The most important aspects of the moon can make a conjunction, opposition, square, trine and sextile. They are the strongest, but you can also have quincunxes, sometimes semi-squares and sesquiquadrates as well to trigger these aspects. So let's have a look at some examples. The first one's going to be an AFL game, and the second one is also an AFL game. So let's have a look at those. Here's the first chart. Collingwood versus Adelaide. This was a playoff game back in 2009. Adelaide were favourites even though they were away from home. Okay, what do we got going on here? We can see the moon is down here at 23 Gemini 40. The first aspect it's going to make, it's going to square Saturn over here at 24 Virgo 19. Then, this is a tricky one, it's going to trine Neptune up here at 24 Aquarius 24. And then finally, just within the time frame of the match, it's going to square Uranus. So it's actually triggering two aspects here. Saturn opposite Uranus, which is a potential upset indicator, and also Saturn quincunx Neptune. Not overly sure how that plays out in general, but Saturn opposite Uranus is quite destabilizing. You'll also see that Saturn in this chart rules the part of fortune here, which is an indication for the favourites. And in this game here, Collingwood actually did get the upset in a very, very tight and exciting game. So let's have a look at the next example, also an AFL game. This was from this year, 17th of July 2021. I was looking at this game and I just couldn't believe Hawthorn were any chance, to be honest. But anyway, Melbourne were leading the competition. They were at home, and Hawthorn was coming second last at this point in time and playing pretty poorly. So let's see what's happening in this game. First of all, we've got the moon up here at 24 Libra 36, and it's going to square the sun in about 25 minutes of arc, which is about 50 odd minutes, which is midway through the second quarter in AFL. And then it's going to square Pluto in about 1 degree's time, or nearly 2 hours time. So it's going to trigger the sun opposite Pluto. Pluto is the king of the upset here. I have seen quite often Sun opposite Pluto turning up as an upset indicator. And the eagle-eyed viewers will see that Uranus is down here on the IC. I've done another video about planets on angles at the start. Very, very close. It is separating 13 minutes, but it's very, very close. And you can also see Mars is quite close to the descendant here. When we get onto the Frawley method, Mars rules the MC. That's a potential upset indicator. What happened in this game? Early in the second quarter, Melbourne were winning by about 29 points. And then when this moon square sun aspect became exact, Hawthorn really kicked into gear and it ended up being a draw. Very, very close and exciting game. Okay, so in the two examples there, we had the moon triggered the Saturn opposite Uranus aspect in the first game, and in the second one the moon triggered sun opposite Pluto. Very, very powerful aspects, those two. When you get a full or a new moon during the game, that is even more powerful than the moon by itself. The idea is still to see how the aspect will impact a team. Some of these aspects by themselves indicate that this game is just not going to be a normal game. So let's have a look at an example of this one, another AFL game. This is probably my favourite astrology chart game of all time, this one. Anyway, it's a Hawthorn versus Fremantle. Let's have a look at that one. Okay, in this game here, Hawthorn were at home, premiership contenders. Fremantle was the away team. They had not won a game. They had lost 17 in a row. They hadn't won a game all season. And Hawthorn were red hot favourites, unbackable favourites. So let's have a look at this one. So the moon's down in Aquarius. It's going to form a full moon opposing the sun in about, 36 minutes of arc. It's going to oppose the sun in about 48 minutes of arc, just about an hour and a half or so, which is just after half time in the AFL. How's that going to link in? Well, over here you can see Saturn is applying to an opposition of Pluto, very close, 9 minutes away. This aspect was actually close enough to trigger that Saturn opposite Pluto. So I'm just going to put the notes up I wrote about this game. So we know that the Fremantle hadn't won a game. Hawthorn were comfortably ahead by 29 points at half time. And then after the full moon, Hawthorn, their captain got injured. Fremantle just clicked into gear. They were chipping away at that lead and getting more and more energetic. And then right before the end of the game, the Fremantle co-captain Adrian Fletcher had his nodal sun Jupiter conjunction crossing over the midheaven. When we look at end of match charts, that has a good probability of winning, and they actually hit the lead and won that game. Okay, some homework. So find the aspect the moon is triggering in the following two charts. First one's an NRL game, and the second one, a little bit tricky, that one is the NFL Super Bowl 36. So pause it now and have a go. Let's go through some answers. So the first one is a rugby league game. Canberra are at home to New Zealand. You can see the moon is going to conjunct Pluto in about 1 degree, and Uranus is applying to a square to Pluto very close, 4 minutes away. The moon will actually square Uranus first and then hit Pluto. So the answer to this one is Uranus square Pluto. Last one, Super Bowl 36. In this chart here, we can see the moon is at 7 Scorpio 36. It's going to quincunx Saturn first and then form a square aspect to Neptune. So it's triggering Saturn trine Neptune. The part of fortune's also involved in this. The moon will oppose the part of fortune. Now the time for this chart, 5:40. There are a few different times floating around for this game. I got this off the NFL.com game book. New England, this was Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win. It was a massive upset. St. Louis Rams were red-hot favourites. Their nickname was the greatest show on earth because of their explosive offense. So the answers are, for chart 21, Uranus square Pluto, so the moon was square Uranus in conjunct Pluto. For Super Bowl 36, the moon was triggering Saturn trine Neptune, even though it is separating. In this case, the moon was quincunx Saturn and square Neptune. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.